Hello, Brian Scott here, Mystic Skull Photography. Forgive me, I'm coming down with something. I I have like 20 of these videos that I have to make. And I'm doing it today. I got all my camera gear out today and on the bed. And I thought, well, I'll do film. And I don't know why in particular. I think at the right now I'm at a crossroads on whether or not I want to do film still. Um, the digital is just too good for various. I'll go into that in a minute here. Um, a little bit about me. I did film way back in the 80s in high school. I took one class, so I have all the ideal. I mean, at one time I was talking about f-stops, and I developed film, and I developed photographs, and I did all that. And I went into digital when it came out, but I had a very basic, you know, the 80s and 90s were not really good for, I mean, digital as it was just coming into its own was harsh. I, I, I know the trend is to go back into the early 90s and get digital cameras, but I don't know. So anyway, I after about 30 years or 40, I don't even know what it was, I decided I hadn't done film in a long time. And I first I went into digital, you know, um, what was it, last September of 2025 or 2024. And so eventually I got back to film. Now, there's a problem in this day and age about doing film. It's expensive. I mean, oh my God, expensive. And that may be taking a turn. Kodak, which hasn't done its own film for God only knows how long, has just put out new film. So I don't know. Maybe it will eventually, if more people do it, it eventually will get somewhat cheaper. Though that is relative, right? Um, the way I do film is I have a digitizer, a Kydak or Kydoc. It's a 20 megapixel, takes 20 megapixel pictures of your negatives. And so I do all the digitization. So I don't pay for that. The only thing I pay for is development. And I don't even pay for that because shout out to ProCam of Cincinnati. If you buy the black and white film at their store, they develop it for free. They do charge for digitizations and making prints and all that. I don't make prints. I mean, eventually, if I want to make, I did make one or two prints out of some film I've done, but in this day and age, I do have two of these, the digital picture frames. This one's a smaller one that I got for $1, and then I got quite a larger one for like $30. So before I go into what I have, the way I do is I go to ProCam. There's an $8 roll and a $13 roll of film that's black and white. The $13 one is a Kodak. I want to say it's a TX. I don't remember what it's called. But then the other one is, I don't know, it's a low brand name, you know, almost generic. I usually buy that. And, honestly, you don't really notice that much of a difference. I don't. So basically, for $8 or $9 or $8 to $13, I can get a roll of film. And we'll go into more on that. I'm going to start off with cameras that I cannot use. So in my collection, Instamatic X35 and Instamatic X15 by Kodak. These were amazingly popular during the 60s, all the way up till I believe the 80s, like the early 80s. And I'm trying to remember what film it took. I think it's 123. Tell me in the comments below. I don't remember. But basically, this film is no longer made. You can put 35 millimeter film in here, but you have to roll it on the thread. There's a special little roll that you put on, and you got to do it in like a dark bag. I don't have time for that shit. Though it would be nice because these are all automatic. You know, it has a fixed focus. All you do, you push the button. Oh, you wind it in the back and push the button. The flash is a cube, or sometimes a long set of cubes. Again, something that's not made anymore. So you have to use this in the daylight. I'm certain some ingenious person probably has something that can connect it to a flash, but there's no hot shoe on this. So these are basically relics of the past that no longer work. I mean, technically they could work, you know, if you really want to spend, you know, a lot of time rolling and unrolling film on and off the spool. My life is too short for that. Another one I have is the Hoga 120. In fact, I think it's a 120 CFN. Basically, it has a light bulb on it. A light that if you might see how it's blue. Now I think that's white. That might have been white. There's a red, white. That's white. Yellow, red, yellow, blue, and white, and flash. So you would want to use color film. I mean, I guess you could use like the red one for black and white if you want the sky to be darker, that sort of thing. I took only one row. I took only one row on this, and 120 is not so much more than 130 or 35 millimeter, but it was just a lot more work. I mean, you have to make certain these things are notorious for just slipping down. So you have to tape the whole freaking thing up. And I'll be honest, the pictures were blah. I mean, they came out somewhat. I mean, I know that's the whole point. Hoga cameras are cheap plastic cameras made that way. And the Hoga lens is made that way to get a dark, you know, 19th century Gothic look, right? It was a very fun camera to use, but otherwise, what replaced this though is I bought a Hoga lens for my Canon 4000D, and those are amazing. Now I can take 1,000 pictures, Hoga-like pictures, on my Canon now. So unfortunately, I say this as I had just bought a Hoga 135 BC, so I gotta get my head examined. But this thing, having to tape it up, and it just and the 120, the negatives are really huge. Where are you going to put that, right? So for those reasons, I might come back to this eventually, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Now, when I first started buying film cameras again to get back into it, I believe this is the first one, the Harman EZ35. It was on special. It's like $30 for the camera, a roll of film, and a battery, which was bad when it came in. But the film was all right. It is automatic, but there's one little problem. This lens is crap. I mean, it is what it is, right? It's not really as automatic as it is. It's still a low end camera. So, having bought that, I bought this. I bought this actually at ProCam. I want to say it was $35, but I actually think it was $25. The cameras of the 90s and 80s, they took the thing that I think about when I think back is a lot of times the weird batteries. This is the CR, I believe it's CR123. Now this camera, it's like the Harman in that it's all automatic. You plop the film in, it advances. When you get down to the end, you don't even do anything. When you get to the end, it starts just rewinding it automatically. The beauty of this one is you have complete control over the flash. There's automatic, there's auto, and then there's off. It's very simple. Do you want the flash on and off? You turn it on. Oh, I forgot the no battery. But then this will come out a little bit because it's not a one point fixed focus. It kind of goes a little bit back and forth. It has sort of this, close range and a distance. That's basically it. So it's a very automatic camera, but it's very fixed in what it can do. I really like it, but I felt, no, I don't know. At this point, I was like, I'll be honest, I hadn't done film in like 30 years, 30 plus years. So I was kind of afraid I wouldn't be able to get the film. I was like, oh, I don't know. Because I kind of remember it when I was 18, 17, whatever it was, just trying to get film into the camera. It sucked. But so I believe at about this time, I bought this baby. The Petri, is it the 7? Yeah, the Petri 7. I love this camera. It's amazing. Feel that. You have no idea what you feel when you wretched that. There's this one little problem with this camera. One little problem. It's all metal. Well, Brian, that's amazing. It's the epitome of cameras, right? But it's heavy. Now, at first you think, well, I'm holding it. It's not really heavy. Strap it around your neck and carry it for 3 hours. Even if you're holding it like this, so you doesn't. Now you're holding a heavy camera. It just isn't for street photography, going out and taking pictures all day. You might take it to a birthday party or something like that for an hour, maybe. But it's such a shame. It's such a nice camera. Totally useless for me. I have arthritic neck spurs, and I can't use it. I cannot use this camera. It's beautiful. It has it actually, I believe this is the shutter, or it works on something through light. It basically it does not use well, it does use a little bit of a battery on the bottom. No, it doesn't. This is no battery. So it's one of those cameras which, boy, it's beautiful. I love it. It's amazing. I can't use it. I want to go to this one. This is the Canon Rebel G2. And I really love this because all my lenses that I can use on my Canon 4000D, I can use on here. So I have a telephoto lens. I have my 50 millimeter prime lens. And I have a few other Hoga type lenses. I have the Hoga lens that I can put on. And I bought this amazing little lens, disposable lens, on, I want to say it was Temu, it might have been AliExpress, for $10. It's amazing. It's almost like a regular lens, almost. It's like, and it screws on just right here. It's very flat. It's almost pinhole like, like the Hoga, but it's really odd that the Hoga, that's more of a lens that you can turn and whatnot, gives you the Hoga effect on this. This little pancake lens, it takes amazing pictures. So for all that, this is all automatic. And this one, it's interesting. There's several things you should remember know about this. When you put the film in, it advances it. But what it does, it takes all the film out, puts it onto the other side, And then, so in a way, you're taking pictures backwards, right? You're not taking pictures from the front and going on to the next one. You're taking it backwards from this. So when you see it, like right now, it's on 22. I took a few pictures today. So then it'll go down to 23. 21, 20, 19. So it's putting the film back into the canister as you're taking the picture. And then you'll see, even when it's turned off, you'll still see the little numbers. Tells you how many film you have, how much film you have left in there, and the fact that you have a canister of film in there. It takes very minuscule amount of energy from the battery, so this can be left on for months, and it doesn't really drain the battery. I have film in it right now. I have what's called Dracula film. It's a 64 ISO film, and that's the other thing I love about this camera is that most film cameras hover around. It'll do from 100 to 400. This goes all the way. I mean, it's really low ISO. I didn't even know there was a 64 or 63, whatever it is, ISO film. So we will see what I get. It's supposed to be done in bright light, or have a good amount of light. It's supposed to give you clean, crisp black and whites with dark blacks and very bright whites. We'll see. But anyway, this is the Canon Rebel G2. Now, sorry, we're coming upon, as much as I love the Rebel, because I know I can put anything in it and it's going to adjust it and it'll do it automatically, so I don't have to worry about it. It has amazing automatic shooting for that. And also the light, all you have to do, if you really aren't certain and you're just going to use a flash, you just pop it up and take the picture. And what I love about it is that you have to pop it up. A lot of times the ones that will pop up themselves, they get stuck. Be aware of that. Don't ask me how I know. The next thing I want to talk about are the two, oddly enough, at the moment, my favorite film cameras. And I think it's very odd. One thing I found out was it's kind of like riding a bike. You just put film in. I thought, oh, it'd be really hard for me to put film in. I don't really remember how to do and all that stuff. So I bought the Kodak Ektar H35N. Being a pragmatist, I'm thinking, well, I'll buy the half frame, so I get more pictures for more bang for my buck. And I think I have to tell you, I'm in love with this camera because besides the fact that you're getting, like 74 pictures out of one roll of film, and it is true, as it is half a frame, you're getting half the resolution, but it's not taken away from the your worth as a photographer, right? If you take a good, decent composition, if you pick the right subject matter, this camera comes through. And again, I have to say, going back to the ProCam, how they'll pay for they do the free developing for black and white. It's a no-brainer. I mean, I was always a black and white photographer anyway. So there is just something about this. It has a metal covering on it, very basic. I mean, this is, if you didn't use the flash, you don't need a battery for it even. And the battery is a AAA battery that you can pick up anywhere. I cannot just, if you can twist this down and the flash will turn on. You twist it back, the flash turns off. It's as simple as that. It has a little filter that a star effect filter, which I keep on when I'm not using it, and just use it as a lens protector, because I've used it a few times. It's not that much. I wish they put anything on it besides the lens filter, or the star filter. And you click it like that, and now you're on normal. Um, oh, and it has a bulb. So I have a shutter release. You put it down here. You push the shutter release, and it open it up. You click it again, it closes it. You know, that way you can do double exposures, or if you're at night where it's really really dark, and maybe you want city lights, maybe you want the cars going by and the light from the cars making streaks. That's the bulb. So all those things can be done with the bulb. And I think the bulb was like $12. I don't even think it was that. It might have been 8. It's just amazing little thing that and film is. I just feel like it's very, yes, there is the Canon Rebel that does it all, and it does it all for you, and they'll think about what the situation is and what's the right flash for and all that. But this one, there is a lomography, style to it. So this is my number one film camera for the moment. But I came across this little baby. Now, what had happened was I was on Walmart.com, and this showed up, and it said it was a half frame camera, and it still does. But we'll get into that. So the half frame camera, I thought, yeah, for $23, I'm buying it. I figure it was just plastic. I get that, but $35, or no, $25. No, actually not $23. I'm sorry. So I buy it, and of course it's a full frame camera. So I go to Walmart bitching about it, and they go, "Oh yeah, we'll refund it. Just keep the camera." Walmart. But when I got it, like when you open it, I mean it is cheap. And I thought, oh, it'll never be light tight. There's no way this is going to be light tight. It is. And unfortunately I shot a lot of it on things I've already done before, and I literally, like, the last 4 or 5 pictures of it, I did really good stuff. But I didn't really know. I had a roll film. I wanted to try it out, so I put it in. It is so nice. It's so nice to have a camera that you literally don't think about at all. I mean, yes, because it's so basic. I mean, all it has is a light. If you don't want to use the flash, you don't need that. And the rest is just you click it, roll it, and then take the picture. So this is actually kind of my new favorite. I mean, this is definitely still a favorite, and because it's half frame, it's a little bit above this. But you kind of like to have full frame. It does do there. I have one picture on here, and again, I've only done one row on it, of a friend. She's we're at a restaurant, and the bright window off to her side, but the light was just enough to create a real good detail. I mean, it just was perfect lighting for her. And so, as much as I don't want to tell you to go buy the $23 piece of shit, but maybe you should. I would love to tell you the name of it, but because it's a Chinese camera, it's just somewhere on Walmart. Look up $23 Chinese camera, maybe. I don't know. So that is my whole entire film camera collection. I don't really have a lot because, I mean, I've probably done maybe 12 rolls of film altogether since last September, right? Even at like $8 a roll, that's still quite a bit of money for me. It's it's basically lunch or not lunch that day, right, for at work. So I I'm not really doing a, and also the other problem is I really want to do film on the street, like downtown, with people. There is a personal thing with film and people, I believe. For some reason, I just don't think you get it a lot with digital. I don't know. It's a really odd feel. Maybe it's my generation or something. So I until I start doing more of those, I'm going to not be doing as much film. Now I did buy a roll just today for the Hoga when it comes in, the Hoga 135 BC, which is black corners, BC for black corners. Um, and that one I got for $17 because only that one color combination. It's green and blue. It looks kind of 80s. I don't know. I really wanted the black and gray one, but that was at least double the price. And I'm like, no, I'm not paying that much for a Hoga camera. I won't do that. So I'm waiting for that to come in to put the new film, and I'm waiting to go out and go downtown to take the Dracula film, pictures of the Dracula film. It sounds like I'm getting back into film photography, but I don't really think so. I think uh, oh, wait a minute, I got somebody in the chats. Yay. I've been yapping us. Hello. So I congratulations. You are literally the first person to see a live. I have like 12 viewers. um yeah, they are Instamatics. And yeah, right. They're still listed on there as half frame. And again, I would have been, even I was really pissed off that it was not half frame, but when you get it for free, right? I mean, Walmart's just like, yeah, we'll give you the money back and, you know, keep the camera. So, hey, it's a win-win. And again, I cannot believe the simplicity of it. For some reason, I know it's about the same simplicity as this, but I guess to get the full frame, it is really nice to get that picture, those type of pictures. And I got over my fear of loading film in again. So it's a no-brainer. I'm going to be using these more, even though I did put Dracula film into. And again, the only reason I did that was because that film is it has to be very bright for it to work. And if you don't have the right lighting or the right flash on it and all that bullshit, so I just say, yeah, I'll put it on the Canon. But these, I use 400 black and white, whichever one, either the Kodak or the cheaper brand. Usually I try to do the cheaper one, but they're almost always out because everybody wants it. Because again, if you buy the black and white at Procam, you get free developing. And that is the rabbit hole I don't want to go down to. There are lomographers online who are developing their own black and white in a black and white stop. That's all 3-in-1. It's the developer, the stop bath, and the fixer all rolled up. And I'm thinking, do I really want to convert my little 16 square foot room into that? I don't know. Anyway. Oh, see, that's just it. I want to do the go to these auction houses and these especially estate sales, where I know you can find amazing finds, right? I mean, you can buy boxes load of stuff for like $100 and just walk away with it. But then again, here's the other thing. I got 16 square feet. I don't know where would I put the stuff. In fact, I'm even now, the Dimitri 7, it's on its way out. I love it. I would just, in fact, I do put it up here just to look at it, but it is absolutely totally useless to me. I cannot my ancient hands cannot carry this around. It's so sad. I cannot. In fact, if that Canon 4000D wasn't so lightweight, I couldn't do it. A mirror camera, one of those full ones from the 80s or 90s. I couldn't do that. I can't do that today. I literally cannot walk around with a camera. And the thing is, I go out and I go on like 3 hour photo shoots, 3 or 4 hours, and yeah, rangefinders are amazing. Yes, but I just can't do that um, anymore, at least. So anyway, I think that's about it. Thank you so much, Decide Towards Screen, for showing up. You are my first person to actually watch a live stream. Um, I think my next one is going to be. Oh, one other thing. To add to the film cameras, and all my cameras, I got this little baby the other day. It's from Temu. It costs $12, and I thought, oh, I got gypped. But then it came in. It is basically light filler for your and I'll put off over here. Now you don't know how bright this thing is. That whole room, well, yeah, you probably know now. It doesn't look all that bright, but everything is. I mean, it's amazing, and you can do red, yellow. It blinks. It does it all, and I haven't really used this one yet, but eventually, especially with the Canon, I'll probably go out. It is, though, in my opinion, more for. Yes, I do know you're from Nostalgia Max on. So again, this I almost forgot this one. A little side thing, a light filler, which is always nice to have. And I'm thinking of using it with the Dracula film. I have a friend who might go downtown with me and kind of pose for pictures, and so that's hopefully in the works. So yeah, that is it. That is my whole entire film. If you want to look at my pictures, I am everywhere on. I would love to give you. I do have some links in the main when you go to Mystic Skulls, but I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube under Mystic Skull. I'm under Facebook under Brian Scott. In fact, most of my media, social media, is Brian Scott, unless you're talking about, gosh, which one is? No, Flickr. I'm under Brian Scott too. So I'm here. No, sure, I can do that really quickly. So really quickly, Holga 120, um, the P3 7, the brick, the Canon G2, the all around. It does everything for you. You don't have to think about it, and that's what the Dracula film's in right now. So and I do love it. It's just you did see the Instamatics, which are in perfect condition. It's just I can't. I'm not going to go through the whole mess of rolling them up, that sort of thing. The Harman EZ35, automatic, but it's just a basic classic lens. Then the Canon Short Shot Max, a very capable camera. When I almost compare it to, well, I can't really compare it to the Canon G2, but it's really nice. It's I believe it's the late or early 90s maybe. And then of course these two, the last two, the 35 H35N Kodak, which is a half frame, and then the full frame. What would we call this? A Chinese camera. And that is basically, yeah. So Sure Shot is, I think it was also very popular. And there was that's just one of a whole line of Sure Shots, right? Canon, I mean, there's one that, like, I think the one right after that has the date. You can put the date on, and things like that. Uh, Silver Chrome Leica. I don't have a Silver Chrome Leica. I think you're talking about the Dimitri 7. That's the Dimitri 7. Now, they might have, the lens might be like, but I don't think that's true. Oh, behind me. No, that's a Camp Snap Pro. That's digital. The Camp Snap Pro, which you see there, way back there, actually a really good camera. It is limited though by the fact that, yes, it's 12 megapixels, but it's a low end megapixel, right? It's not really a high end megapixel. Just the number of a megapixel. You might say, oh, it's 8 megapixel or it's 12 or whatever, but the cost of film, yeah, $15 just to get developed and just to get negatives. But like I said, ProCam, where I live, you buy the black and white film at their store, they develop it for free. Can't go wrong. And I think the film, I wish I remember the name of the film, but there's a $8 film, and then there's like 13. That's the Kodak one. And I do 400. I don't do 100. Because black and white film is very forgiving. You can, take your 400 out and shoot in bright light or all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I agree. 5 to 12 megapixel, but not all megapixels are created equal. This is the that one street camera, and I don't have it on me, or it's here somewhere in my regular Camp Snap, what I call the classic, the 105B. They're both 8 megapixels, but this one is much worse. I just see it differently than it's much different than the Camp Snap. I have the Noir filter on the Camp Snap 105B, and if you're taking it outside, it's amazing. But if you take it inside and you take it under and we're talking people, it just looks like somebody took watercolor paintings and just, this one, not good outside, but really good inside. I did. I'll be honest. I just didn't really see anything. I think the thing is, and here's the thing, my opinion on the filters. Now, this whole thing was supposed to be about film. My whole thing about the filters for Camp Snap, the Noir, I think charcoal depth is about as close as you're going to get on the Pro with the Noir style. But the camera makes the filter just as much as the filter, right? If you're taking if you take, hey, I got another person. My guy, I got 2 people on here. I'm about ready. I have 2 people on my live stream. So thank you, people, for showing up. My opinion is, everybody's doing them. I try my hand at making my own filters on the Camp Snap. I did it for a while and I just kind of gave up. 5 are watching. Oh my God. All right. Well, I'll do just about anything. Just tell me what to do so I can get a few more. I do believe though that we might eventually see, like my favorite is the Noir filter. We might see something like that the Noir, the Kino, all the camp shades will eventually go to the Pro, but I don't know if you're going to get the same results because it's the filter on an 8 megapixel camera, and then you put in the filter on a 12 megapixel camera, it's going to look a little bit different, right? I don't think, and this is my opinion. I don't know. Maybe they'll do some black magic because I don't know what the Noir filter entails. It's not just that little filter thing that you make on the CampSnap website. They do a little bit something different. They have to because I tried to do a Noir filter on the CampSnap website and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get the same look on the Pro that is on the not this but the CampSnap 105B. So I don't know if that's what you were asking. Yes, I have tried to do it and I just didn't get anything amazing. Now I did make some filters that are very alien and lomography sort of things, but how much are you going to use that for? You know, are you going to go out, spend a 3 hour day, taking pictures of purple skies? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe. I I'm just more. I want to take the picture of something. I've I've always been I've always been a black and white favorite black and white though. Um, I just, now is the Sigma? Are you talking? Is that a film? No, that's not. That's a very old digital camera, right? In fact, I think here's the thing about those old digital cameras, and believe me, I lived through this. The thing about old digital film cameras, they're great as long as they don't have hardware that's totally out of date and you can't buy anymore. I mean, some of these batteries and accessories, especially the early 80s, some of them are on disc that they no longer make. You know, at what point can you keep using stuff that's the same way with one of these Instamatic things? Technically you can put 35 millimeter film on the thing, but you got to do it in a light tight bag blind. I mean, I just I got better things to do with my time. And I mean, I guess if you're the day of this thing is gone unless they come back with the film, and who knows, maybe they will, because the thing is a lot of these were sold. I mean, these are so common. I got this for $4. you know Well, 110, yeah, lomography. The only people that make it though, and I believe they only make one type. It's Orca. I believe Orca's the only film made for 110 that's black and white. I mean, they do have Tiger and a few color ones that are very interesting, but I believe they're around. And again, they're only like $9, but then you have to get them developed, and they don't sell that at ProCam. you know, yeah. Oh, do they now? Okay, now that's brand new to me. I did not know Photography Project makes 110. The only thing have seen was lomography, and so that must be really like within this year or something. My only old digital camera is a Minix Leica 3 miniature copy, about 5 megapixel, interlope pit, and very average. But here's the thing though. You can take 1 megapixel, 2 megapixel, put in Photoshop, you know, and you can. I am not. Now, the funny thing is, I really strive to make the picture that I make just by clicking. But all art is about editing, no matter how. You're going to edit it no matter what. Even if you're painting on canvas. Oh, I got something I can cover that up with, So, fine. You got 5 megapixel, do it. Because now where I do see, I've done one picture. I use, I took the picture and I try my best to alter it in Photoshop. There was this branch sticking out. It was of a dock, and there was this one branch sticking out, and I tried every Photoshop trick to get rid of that branch, and I couldn't, without looking like crap. So I just said, "Fuck, I'm going to put an AI." I said, "Get rid of that branch," and it did, and it looked amazing. It just looked like it never was even there. That I'm kind of worried about. Like AI is just a dummies. I don't know. It's just too easy. So I kind of question about using AI, but Photoshop or something like it, it's tools that you have to do and figure out. Because let's go back to film. When I was in high school, how long did you expose the paper to light? There's little tricks where you would put paper over the film so you wouldn't expose that part, but you would expose this part. You're doing the same. It's the same thing. So um, now I don't know. I don't have any CCD sensors technically. I don't think, but I I do want to try a few. I do want. I am looking for them. But looking for, here's the one thing I'm learning about cameras. You have a camera that does A, and maybe it's good enough for A, but then you find, oh, I want B, C, and D also. Okay, so now I have that. Why am I now holding on to this? When I have this is far superior to this. I mean, there's nothing quaint about this. It's just a lesser camera. So why am I? I mean, I do it because I'm a collector, but why? I literally stopped at ProCam. I almost bought a camera. I'm thinking I don't need that camera. I have 3 cameras that does pretty much the same thing. Why would I? Uh, you know, yeah, exactly. Use AI if you're lazy. But it's even worse than just being lazy. It's not partaking in your picture, right? Sure, you took the picture, but the AI kind of takes over. Now, I say this, but guess what? I'm the number one user of AI art. I put the prompt into AI. I have to tell very specific things to get very specific results for, painting, drawings, whatnot through AI. I don't know. I do feel though it's a lot of cheating for photography. I don't know why. I'm more than willing to do it for a drawing or a painting like picture, but uh, yeah, I don't have gas. What I do have, well, and just the collecting of it, but what I do have is, oh, it's a new camera. It has something new on it. I want to try it out. I have the I try out thing. And then once you tried it out, though, unless it's something really amazing, yeah, so what? Next. Um, I think that's why looking at my collection of all my cameras, I think cameras like the Canon 4000D is a keeper because the various lenses that do such a wide range of things, like again, the disposable lens and the Hoga lens, just create amazing pictures, right? On that digital camera, which I can take pictures all day long. And it is just as good. I'm sorry, I will say just as good as a Hoga film camera. So I agree. I Most of my cameras are $50 or under. I mean, ProCam, you can get the Canon 4000D, and the first um, lens I got with it, I think I pay $150 for the whole thing, which I thought was a steal. And I was very lucky because the that camera's almost 100% plastic, or except for the mechanical parts in it. And it's very lightweight. I I cannot carry anything, especially those lens cameras. I just can't do it. It's just too much physicality for me. Physicality. Um, well, now the thing again, the Hoga thing, it's a lot of work, because I mean, I don't think it would have a lot of light leaks and stuff. It really feels firm, but I I had right before I used it, this one slipped down and opened up. I'm like, oh fuck. So I did tape the thing completely, and I even taped back here that there has a little, depending on what, there's a little box inside on how many film stills you'll use on the row. So I even covered that, and I had no light leaks whatsoever. Um, Again, though, where you get 12 pictures, I think I got 12 pictures out of a whole roll, and that's a $9 or $10. No, actually, I think it was $12 for the roll. I didn't have to pay for development, but I I just felt it was yeah, you have, and the thing is, it's literally made to do that. It's literally made to be a piece of shit so that it will leak and it'll do all kinds of weird things. Lomography people love that crap. They eat it up. Oh my god, look at that! And I've literally posted the row on there, and it's out of focus on one, and there's a guy on a rowboat, but you can barely see him. They love it. So I don't know. I should do a whole video on that. What you think of as crap and everybody loves. I don't know. Um, but here's the other thing: the 120 film. I mean, I wish I had it somewhere here. It's huge. The frames are literally like this big. I mean, they're big, and the roll. I didn't get it cut up because I put it through my my digitizer. I just do it by hand, and the whole row. What are you going to do? You're going to hang it from the wall or something? I mean, I don't know. It's just so big. I have a question on the Hoga. Mine has a slider on the top of the lens, and it does. So basically, I don't. In theory, when you put it on the thunderstorm, that's a dark, overcast day, and then the other one is sunshine, a real bright day. Does it really? I've heard that it does. That they get people don't see any difference, and then other people just swear by it. I will tell you though, not so much on this camera, but I learned it on the Canon 4000D. This little, you get a person, two people, a group of people, and then the mountains. One's real short up close, and the other is. It is fun, and don't think that you have to do the person to do the person. I've done like mountains and put it on the person and all this kind of stuff, and it does do. You can see a difference, and sometimes you get some very interesting results from this Hoga lens. And I think I bought the Hoga lens. I want to say it was $18. I think I got it on Temu. So that's $18 I pay. I mean, it's amazing what little money can do, like a little item, and then it just, and that might be a whole nother video. Things I bought off Temu. I buy my camera straps off of Temu. They're $6, $8. They're just perfectly fine. I need something cloth and kind of thick and wide for my neck. I buy, you know, lens filters, and more important, a step up rings so that you can different size. It was like $8 for like every step up ring size you could imagine. Um, they make sleeves for 120. Yeah, Yeah, but again, like I'm saying, I try to keep all my film on one continuous where I don't get them cut because putting them through the digitizer, you have to. It has a little plastic um, tray thing. I do it to get it through, and then I just take that sucker off and I just do it by hand because it's just too much. I'd be here all day just making digitizing film. So I'll just do, and also a cool thing about doing it by hand like that, especially like if you want to do a double exposure, put two pieces of negatives together and just send them through at the same time, and you got your double exposure, right? Um, I have a Kodak Retina 2, a zone focus. Well, are you talking about? I think zone focuses are kind of like the Hoga, right? Is that what you're saying that you're doing it? Um, yeah, yeah. I've seen those, and especially uh, I've seen it quite a bit on the fully automatic cameras from the '90s. There's a few of those. I've seen those. Yeah, I mean, my back when Minolta was really Minolta, you mean? Before they sold their name? By the way, I want those Minolta cameras. I love scammers. We could go into the whole. I'll do a one on scammers. Like this is the love of my life right here. I love this camera. It is Scammer City, but it is so neat what you can get out of this. I took this camera in a dark. I mean, it was a dark woods. Um, it was daylight. I mean, but it was dark. I didn't need the flash for this at all. I put it on vivid, and it was almost like you're just standing there, like with me, taking the picture. Now, don't get me wrong, it is integral a little bit, but if you're just looking at it without pixel creeping, it looked really good. And so I don't know. I don't know where I got off on that. I do love my scammers though. So when I saw the Minolta, the M&D 70, I want that. I mean, I can never afford it. It's like almost $400. Give me a break. I'm not paying $400 for a scammer, but it looks so nice, right? And I want the one, the Yoshiba, not the city one. What's that new one? Damn, I can't remember. Help me. I want that new scammer from Yoshiba. Um, but again, I'm not paying that price for it. There's no way in hell. Um, but it has where it shows the film being loaded, and it has a sort of take it like a camera picture mode thing. Um, but I believe that is also an app based thing. Yeah, I don't do that. I bought the um, I bought the flashback camera. Absolute piece of shit. Uh, and you know what? On my Hoga, somebody did that too. When I bought it, they actually had the little. But really, I mean, I guess if you really want to get so far in what the feats are in them, but I think this is perfectly fine. You're taking landscape to the mountain, I don't know. But that flashback, it taught me a lot. It taught me to when to look at what's really a piece of crap. You know, it it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Even if it, even if so, my problem was I bought the thing and it doesn't. It interacts with the app, but it won't transfer the pictures to the app on the phone. And so you can't do any of the filters on it whatsoever. And more importantly, when you're out in the wild and you've taken your 27th picture, then you can't download it into the phone. So now you're stuck with a camera that you're done with it. You know, a little too much like film. I'm sorry. I don't understand the whole purpose of this camera. You know, uh, yeah, Yoshiba. No, 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 no. That one had little plastic canisters that you put into the phone. I mean the camera. What I'm talking about is the new one. They have a new Yoshiba. I just can't remember the name of it, and it is. It looks really good though. And what it does, I think it has a camera mode where you download the camera into your app, but you can also just take pictures on the camera, and you can add um, the filters on the camera even if you don't use the app. That's the good thing about it. And the filters are named after their famous films through the years. Um, Oh, I bet. I bet they do that all the time. They'll put lead, they'll put clay, putty in the cameras because they're just so lightweight. I say I kind of get why they do it, but I love lightweight cameras. My old bones love it. I can't lift shit. You know, um, and also I'm getting really into this sort of build because I can put like two or three of these on my wrist. I, you should see me sometimes walking down. I got like three of these fuckers just hanging down there. I'm taking some pictures with this. I'm taking some pictures with that. I do have to edit myself. I need to learn to take one camera, but I don't know if I'm able to do that all. FXD, that is it. Thank you so much. The FXD Yoshiba FXD camera. I want it really bad. But I know my limit on a camera is $100. I won't pay anything, or a toy camera. I just won't pay anything over $100 because the Camp Snap Pro was $100, and I honestly feel I got my money's worth for that. You'd be surprised how good a picture you can get from that camera. Um, and I did a video where I took it out with my uh, X Q10, my Pentax Q10, and the reality hits the pavement, right? You're out there, it's bright sunlight, you can't see shit. The screen is just gone. I'm just taking pictures. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing, right? There's nothing, there's no viewfinder, it's just a screen. And then I want to change. I did have the knob set for certain things, but I couldn't really see. I couldn't see anything. The Camp Snap. Oh yeah, you just look through here, click, click, click. I got it. And the pictures just came out really. It only has 4 filters on it, but they're just enough to make very different pictures, right? Uh, vin- Vintage 1 and Vintage 2 on the Camp Snap Pro. It's just a tint of red, a tint of blue, but it does. The red makes it warmer, the blue makes it cooler, and it's really a nice camera. I almost and I do take it a lot with me everywhere. And what I should do is just take it downtown and only that and do the Camp Snap Pro. But then I want to try this camera. I want to take this camera. Hey, I bought this one. I haven't used this in a long time. I really need to use it, right? So it's that I have the Camp Snap. Okay. My problem with that is the sound. Now I've heard the newer ones have a plug for a mic. Good. But then it kind of makes me kind of pissed that, oh yeah, and I'm glad that they are finally getting online with accessories. The Camp Snap Pro and their Camp Snap need a lot of accessories, and they don't have anything for it. I'm glad that they're at least doing it for the video camera, but I question the $200. That's my biggest problem. I don't mind paying $200 for a video camera, but you gotta keep your fucking finger on the thing for it to keep it recording. That's bullshit. You got to, there's just little things I question about it. I just don't. Yeah, so you don't even have the mic jack. I mean, you got screwed. I mean, it's fine if you're going to make film and just put a soundtrack onto it or whatever, but then it limits you. You're not going to really be able to do, um, you know, film. I wish they would get one that you could do a movie on, even if it was a little short film. I think you probably could if you have an SD card that's like 126 or something like that. I think, or whatever it is, a real high SD card. I think you can get quite a bit on those. I don't remember what the timing is. Somebody said it was like 2 hours at least. So you could do your own real inexpensive, cheap movie. Um, but if the sound sucks, it just sucks. Well, if you can do that, that's fine. I cannot open. So let me tell you the story. I buy this. Speaking of 110, I bought this beautiful. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was a Minolta actually. It was a Minolta 110 camera, and it was a Rolls Royce. It was the epitome of 1970s. It was an amazing 110 camera, but there was one problem. Somebody had left the battery in, and it has swollen. And I tried everything. I thought, well, it's just swollen. Once I get it out, if it's corroded, I can take some vinegar. I'll fix this. It would not come out. So I thought, well, I can take it apart here and it'll be, long story short, I took the fucking thing all apart. I couldn't put it back together. I ruined. Now, luckily I only paid like $10 for it. But it was, I mean, I destroyed that camera trying to. So I love. Now, having said that, not this one, but the very first one I got on this, I put the SD card in upside down by accident, and it went into the camera, and you could hear it jingling around. I'm like, oh man, I'm trying to get it out of there. I'm going to take this fucking thing apart. So I opened it up in the back and took out the 4 screws, and it came off, and I got the thing out, and I didn't harm it. So you know, I I try not to do that. If you know how to do it, do it. But can you? Oh yeah. Now where were you? Where were you when I was doing this? I didn't think anything of. Another person said, "Well, you could have glued something onto it and just pull it out." But I don't think so. It was in there tight. I mean, it had swollen big, and so even when I took the whole freaking thing apart, I mean, it never technically never came out because the way it was built around that little camera battery part, it was separate from everything else. It just was not going. That part did not come apart, of course. So, yeah, where were you? Well, I don't have a drill, so that's another thing. Yeah, I just it's such a sad thing, and I fear it all the time. I take the batteries out, and there's nothing nicer to go out, take the camera out with you, and realize, oh, you don't have the fucking battery. But I am afraid that it will do stuff like that. The the batteries. I and that's the thing about buying them at like the flea markets and stuff. I cannot tell you how many of them had batteries that had exploded or had swollen in them. I mean, and when they sold me that one camera, I know they did not know. Sometimes they know what they're doing when they're selling these things. Sometimes they don't. Even now, like Goodwill overcharges for a camera. Are you kidding me? You're Goodwill. You're supposed to be giving it to me for $1. Why am I paying $15 for an old camera at Goodwill? It's still too much money, right? So they have their own little pricing system. I get it. The only good place I've ever met to buy a camera is the Discovery Shop, which is a cancer it sells stuff for cancer fundraising. That and another one called Peppermint Pig. We got a flea market, well, secondhand shop called Peppermint Pig, where the money goes to animal welfare, and they have all kinds of. I walked in there the other day and I just got a treasure trove of stuff for $10. I mean, it was literally hands full of stuff. But it was all gear though. It wasn't anything camera. No, yeah, I take that back. I did get a camera, but it was a very basic. Didn't even have a flash on it. So, oh, digicams are just. And remember, I use a lot of these during the '90s. I'm like, you want how much for that? But now that we're talking digital cameras, my Ricoh CX3 is the most amazing camera I ever used. Digital, digicam. That is the king, in my opinion, of digital cameras, and it has everything. Especially, what I love about it is, I don't want to do black and white. I want to do color today. I want to do that one picture in color. It has amazing color, and black and white. It has an amazing high contrast black and white on it. It looks so much like film. It's just so. In fact, it almost looks Hoga-like in a way. Um, and I got that for $100. Where the hell did I get that at? I got it online. I'll be honest. The best deals are on eBay. And the one thing I like about eBay is if they screw you over, if the seller screws you over, you get your money back because eBay keeps that money. It's sort of like when you buy something, so that if something happens to it, they'll refund you your money. I don't do marketplace, Facebook market. Might as well be doing it back alley, at night. I bought a NOS Kodak camera. Oh my God, $135. Yeah, yeah, I know. Look at Fujifilm. You talk about overinflated crap. I mean, the prices are just horrendous. I'll never be able to. I'll never be able to buy a Fujifilm camera. I can't afford it. And all I want them for are the film simulations. I have this. So my feeling on digital cameras, I don't shoot in RAW. I know how to shoot in RAW. I know how to use RAW. I know how to edit RAW. But I just feel part of taking pictures is trying to take the picture here and now. That's the one thing I like about analog film, analog cameras, is that you can change them a little bit, but you're trying to get the picture as good as you can then. I shoot in black and white because I want it in black and white. I shoot in JPEG because I know I'm going to get a certain quality in JPEG. And eventually, when I take it to Photoshop, I don't want to have a whole wide range of things I can do with it. I want to just crop it a little bit or brighten it up a little bit. That's pretty much the only thing I do on a picture. 90% of what I post, I haven't touched. It's just the way it came out in the picture. Um, yeah, I found a Sony CyberShot. I want one of those. I want a Sony CyberShot 8mm. Now you can probably find them. I've seen them real cheap. I didn't find them that cheap, but you're talking like $35. I mean, and that usually comes with maybe a battery and whatnot. But now, forgive me, the CyberShot, is it the CyberShot? What battery does it go on? There's something about that. I was like, I don't really know if I want to do that. Or maybe I think it was this one. I do though. I do like the look of it though. That real long and then the round that's on the end of it. A small. Right. So that's the thing though about those very early cameras. They're ran on weird batteries that they don't sell no more, or they take or they're or you take the pictures on disk, a certain disk, or a certain floppy disk, or I mean that's fine if you want to spend half your life looking for the floppy disk that goes into that camera. I'm not doing that. I And that's the one thing about like the Swan Street camera. They have built-in batteries, which I don't like, but at the same time, the best battery life, this camera, the charge will stay on this for months, and you can take literally 500 pictures, 600, 700 pictures even before you have to even think about recharging the thing again. It's so hard, it's so hard to beat that, right? I mean, your digital cameras are not going, your little digicams, those batteries are not going to last that long. Now, granted, you are getting better, a lot of times a much better quality picture, definitely. I have a Sony. Yeah. And well, that's the other thing. I cried. I dropped. I dropped so much shit the last month. I literally went through a month where I was dropping stuff and breaking everything. I had a camera I had for 30 years. It was the S8100 Nikon S8100. Amazing camera. Almost as good as my Ricoh 3X10 or 3X. What? No, already messing up. Um, and I dropped it, and it worked for a while, only in certain, you know, um, switches, but it finally gave up the ghost, and I just almost cried on that one because I had that one for like 30 years. I used that all the time. So once they die, man, it's a death because that Rico I worry about, because I got for like $100. I'll never find it for $100. It'll now it's probably $300 now if you're lucky, right? So you know once they go, they go. Yeah. Well, I bought a Nikon L105. It's a bridge camera, and it's a cute little bridge camera, 4 AA batteries, but it's AA batteries. Now I bought rechargeable AA batteries because that and about 3 other cameras took AA batteries. So I'm not going through AA batteries all the time, but yeah, I mean it's nice to find cameras that just uses regular batteries, because the other issue is, now I will say, the good thing about the cameras, they usually come with an SD card. That's good. But if you're buying them on eBay or something, they almost never come with the SD card. So whatever you're buying, oh, there's another $10 at least, and that's if you go to Walmart and buy the on 32 gigabyte for $10, which isn't bad. I mean, you can store a lot of photos on there, but that's the thing, that and the batteries. So you go, okay, I just bought a Digicam. Oh, you're going to need batteries, and then of course the battery it takes is, you are not going to get that battery. You're going to have to get a Kaiser battery, whatever it's called. It's about another 10 or $15. So you're just adding up more and more money as you're going along, as you're buying these. And of course, none of the Digicam cameras take the same batteries at all, you know. Or at least yeah, maybe a Canon, all the Canon Digicams will take a certain battery. Okay, if you have all Canons, but I buy a Canon, I bought this Digicam, that Digicam, they all need different batteries, and so that's also a, so the battery is about 10, and the charger. Good thing the chargers do come with these battery packs, so about $15. Uh, oh yeah, the smart, yeah. Are those like the real big XD cards? They're kind of wide too. Those things, yeah. See, that's what I mean about these early digicams. I go, ooh, no, thank you. I don't do it. you know, I just, what are you doing? You're waste. It's not even just the money. It's like, okay, you buy it and something goes wrong with it. Now you need another one. Replacing stuff is just as hard as the cost of it. I just, no, I can't do it. And then is it worth it, right? Because not only now does it have the smart SD card or whatever, but then it'll have all these other little quirks, right? Most of the time, finding things on the camera isn't that bad because it's so basic, right? But other times, it does things that you would never even imagine doing it because it's so different, right? It's so different what's being done today. They don't do that anymore. So unless you've, and then this is also another issue with me. I don't read any of the instructions. I don't. I go, oh, instruction. I'll look at the flick. It went into the circular file. Now, to be fair, though, if I really need instructions, I can just find them anywhere online. Um, but I just don't know. I don't. It might. I think it might be an age thing. I just sitting through reading instructions anymore. I just can't do it. And also I think I kind of like trying to find out on my own what it does or how it does it. I think that's, I don't know. But yeah, I don't do the those special memory cards or uh, all these things, special things that you like the disc thing, and I I got better things to waste my time on. Now, but I think though that kind of, I have this opinion on, and the lomographers, if you're in here, hold your ears. I feel digital is just as much about lomography as analog is, because when you are dealing, especially the real low end digital stuff, you can do such interesting things with it, right? Um, where is it? Of course, I don't have. Well, I had it right here. I have a Kitty Zoom camera, and it's a print. It prints out the picture using hot press paper, and I it's an amazing little thing because you take a picture, it prints out this real digitized binary black and white picture. But you know what? It is such a crowd pleaser. I take it to parties. People look at. I take pictures of people. I print out this picture. It's a crappy picture, but they love it. I give them their picture. I give other people grandma's picture, and it's a thing that, even though it's kind of one step from being a piece of crap, it's really a good camera, right? Because uh, the experience of interactions with the people, I get that. I grew up on film. I kind of, well, see, I feel that that's the way I feel with the um, the JPEG thing. I feel it's kind of doing film because I'm not. Um, oh, I can use. I'm using RAW, so it's just going. I'm just going to do it later. I'll do whatever I'm going to come up with it later. Whereas the JPEG thing is you kind of got the picture that you took. Um, and I that's one of the reasons why I want the talking about Fujifilm. I want the Fuji either X half or the Mini or the Y Evos because they're very much, especially the Evos, they bridge the gap between film, kind of like, even though technically the pictures aren't film, but the pictures they print out are not analog film. But I like a film like that because it has such an artistic array of things to do, right then and there as you're taking the picture. Um, but I generally shoot RAW and JPEG. Well, I did that for about a month, and let me tell you, that shit takes up a lot of space. And maybe I need to change my ways or whatever. But one of the things I do is I'll go out and I will take 100 pictures easily. I do about 100 pictures an hour. I mean, and it is. I literally one day I came home. I almost want to say this. I don't even know what I should say. I came home. I had done almost 1,000 pictures. Now, how many of those were even worth? I mean, not money, but and a lot of those were, and 1,000 pictures over. I had about 5 cameras with me that day, so but I do have a sort of you know a a problem with editing, like because I just take a lot of pictures, right? And I don't know. It's that sort of, do you have 20 children? Maybe one will live, or do you have the one child and you overprotect it? I don't know. I um I shoot a lot of pictures, so I cannot shoot them in RAW. It's just too much. It's too much space. It just I did, and I tell you where I experienced that. I took out the Q10 and I was shooting RAW and JPEG, and I literally ran out of space on the SD card. So I'm like, oh yeah, I better stop doing that. 12 terabyte external hard drives. Oh wow. Well, good for you. Actually, they're not really all that. I have a 2 terabyte on this little. So yeah, but for that price, yeah, and they are. The funny thing is, those are far worth it more than anything you own now. So I can see, people coming in and saying, "Hey, I need your hard drive. I need your external hard drive, please. I'll pay you $1,000 for it." It's just crazy. It's just crazy, and I have. Well, yeah, video does take up a lot more. Max 2K. Yeah. I did video in art school. I'm trying to remember what I shot on because I took 2 video classes. I took a hardline, this is video at Xavier University in Cincinnati. It's a Catholic school, and talk about a duck out of water. I walked in. They looked at me because I looked so. I was an Art Academy of Cincinnati student. I was the art student, right? And I walked into this video class. But anyway, I took that class where I learned things, but I didn't. The class was 99% tech. I couldn't understand any of it. It was over my head. I couldn't understand a bit of it. But I passed by the skin of my teeth because I had the best video. When it came to actually doing the video, I excelled. But just because I had more of an artistic bent and the others didn't. There was people. Their most artistic out expression was playing golf. Literally, I mean, it was like they were all upper class, and I have to tell these stories. I'm sorry if this gets off. Um, I I had this video class, and I don't remember what size of it. Maybe you know what you know video. It's those real big cassettes. They're kind of like or like VHS, but they're really big. And the news, um, TV news crews would use them up until like the 90s or something. And anyway, that's what we recorded our video on. And hence, I technically have it somewhere, but I have no way of seeing it anymore. So the video's still there. But we would have a class on how this video works. I couldn't understand any of it. And then we would have a test on the class the next week. We only had like maybe 6 classes, or I don't remember how it went, but each week was so probably about 8 classes. And I failed every one of those classes, every one of those tests. I failed outright. I had no idea what it was. It was like Greek to me. But then again, like I said, when it came time to actually recording a video, none of them had any idea what to do. Oh, they knew the tech stuff, but all of them, most of them made music video. Well, you had to make a music video, so it was just music videos with them lip syncing to the music. So anyway, I had done that, and then the opposite was a performance art class I took in the Art Academy of Cincinnati, and we did a video section. We did video, and again, I can't remember what I used. I used actually I used like 2 or 3 different video things, and there was live performance with it. So like I read something, and somebody did something, I can't remember what. And then it was just a really bizarre. I call it the birth of Dionysus. We won't get into that, but I learned more from doing the. Yes, I'm the same way. And it's a shame because I used to be a really good reader. I used to read. Well, this was back in the 70s. I read like the complete works of H.G. Wells one day. I did. I read Dante's Divine Comedy by the time I was in middle school, all the way through. But now I just don't, I can kind of tabletop role playing games. Like even then, if I just get the gist of what the rules are, I'm done. I just rather go out. And now I'm kind of addicted to just going out and taking pictures because I'm out, I'm walking, I'm getting sun, I'm getting fresh air. And that was one of the things I did it for, was to get the fuck out of this house. And it's helped with my health. I've lost weight and all that good stuff. But now I'm kind of addicted to doing that. And I'm becoming one of those people who doesn't read. And I am kind of that way where I learn stuff just by doing it. But I think you all are, right? I mean, that was kind of like in art school. Yeah, we're going to talk about how to apply the paint, but we're going to be talking about as you're doing it during the week. You got to learn by doing it. Betamax. That might, I have. That might have been. Betamax might have been. That might have been what it was called. It looks like a VHS tape, but it's larger. Or does it look like VHS? Yeah, I think so. And I remember it's put on the side of the camera, and the cameras are quite big. This is like humongous thing you're putting on well, I'm saying this was what they were using. The news crew in Cincinnati at the time was using these. So whatever you saw, the guy walking around with the big giant camcorder for the news crew, that's what we were using in that class. And I couldn't get it. He was telling us how it recorded information on it, and I tried. I couldn't. I felt so stupid in that class. I did. Um, oh yeah, it is higher. I remember it. You know what I thought about it? Yes, it was digital, but honestly, it kind of reminded me, and maybe it was what they used since the late 70s. I believe they used it in the late 70s. So whatever they were using in the late 70s into the 80s. Um, but at one point in the late 70s, they were actually using film, I believe, right? I don't remember. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I was not the video. So because of my scars of that time, I haven't really done video since then. It's always one of those things though I would like to do, but I I feel like I need control when I'm doing video. Like I want to control all aspects of it because if you don't, then I just feel like there's a chaos factor that creeps in and takes over if you don't control the lighting and the setting and all that. And then you also have to think, what shirt is he wearing? What color is the shirt he's wearing? And does that go with the sunlight at this time? And it's a lot to think about if you're going to make a video. I mean, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm always thinking about a short film or not taking home movies or something like that. I have no, well, I have no personal life, so my elementary school had a TV studio. Oh, why don't we just go back to when we had public video, or what was that, public access on public rate or on cable TV? I wish I had gotten into that, but only certain people did that at the time, but that was all free. You just signed up for it, but that was the thing. You had to sign up for it and be there and show up and um, oh, we still have public access. I didn't even know there was. I don't think I don't think Cincinnati has one still. Cincinnati had one for many years, but I think somewhere in the 90s, I think it went away. I mean, I don't know. Google that. Yeah, YouTube is the new public access. That's so true. But having all that at your fingertips for free is, was really though I will say somebody was talking to me about it. Yeah, it was free, but remember, everybody used the equipment, so it was always breaking down. So you had to basically bring your own equipment in to make certain that you had something that would work that night because you only used the studio at those certain hours, right? So well, maybe they do. Maybe Cincinnati still has one. I have no idea. That's interesting. I would have to look into that. Hmm. Yeah, that's just it though. Being there at the right time to buy stuff. I always miss it. I always miss out. And then that can become a whole thing itself, right? You're chasing the monkey. You're like, oh, I'm going to chase these estate sales and see. Yeah, I don't have time to go 20, 30 miles out and look at an estate. I just, I wish I did, but I just don't. And now with um, I just had a flat tire. So this month, $615 because it's all wheel drive. So I had to have all of them replaced. It was getting there anyways. I I got a Sony Hi8 camcorder. $10. Cool. That's the other thing about camcorders. I do only digital because I'm not doing where you have to put a cassette in, and I'm beyond that. I just finding cassettes that matches those things. That's a pain in the ass. Boys speakers for $5. I had a Boys headphone that somebody gifted me, and I don't know for certain. I think they gifted it through Five Finger Discount. I don't know that for certain. This was years ago, decades ago. Those were the best headphones. I had those things for over a decade. Um, of course, I think the things cost like $400, and that was seen back then, which was like 8 or 9 now. I mean, they're real expensive, but yeah, those were amazing. And they had a almost like a suction where you could turn out the sound while you're listening to whatever you're listening to. They were amazing, but DVR attached to it. Hmm, that's interesting. Though, how do you carry all that around? I don't know. That's the other thing. Getting back to the Petri 7, a work of art. I can't carry it. I mean, if you can do that, that's fine. If you have the space and you don't need to move around, but eventually, oh, okay, I see. Um, you know, for, this all goes back. I out of the art academy. When I was in the art academy, I was one of my teachers was a student of somebody in the Bauhaus. And the Bauhaus, if you don't know, was a school of thought in Germany on design. And he taught me very interesting less is more and form false function. And I stick by that. I stick by that. I try at least most of the time. Sometimes you just gotta, you know, do something flowery or whatever. But I think most of what I've learned in life with art and photography as an art is less is more and form false function. And oh yeah, oh yeah, the Bauhaus. My years, I had 4 years at the Art Academy of Cincinnati. My first 2 years, I was a design major, and I just felt very empty. So I went into fine arts. So I'm a printmaker, design, kind of a split sort of thing. My degree is printmaking because I was taking printmaking classes when I was doing the design things. So I have this real strong Bauhaus mentality for design added to, and as a printmaker, I was a failure because I did make prints, and the idea was that you're to make identical prints of whatever you're doing, either a lithography or an etching. But I always wanted to make something unique, right? But make it as a print, and it was really big on my mind at the time, and I that's what I did. So all my print making was unique prints, kind of like monotypes, and so anyway, I yeah, I'm well into the Bauhaus theory or the design thing too. Very ahead of their time, and very much an integral part of the modern art movement. Um, a lot of other art movements owe it to them for what they did, for their aesthetics and whatnot. Oh, oh, well, salute. I yeah, if I had the money, I would stay a student for the rest of my life. I had a friend who he was in college till he was 35. True story. He he got 2 or 3 bachelor's degrees and he got a 2 master's degrees. I mean, if you can do it, that's great. I I think though one of it's funny because people go, what did you get out of your art degree? You got nothing out of your art degree. Oh, I totally disagree. um, the one thing I learned in art school that the kids at Xavier's didn't learn, and the ones today even, is to think critically. And it's an odd thing to say, oh, I learned to think critically at an art school, but um, I feel that it it created me as a person. And even though my life was a fail, I should say my failure life, but you know, financial failure of my life. Um, I lived such a life that I would never have had if I hadn't gone to art school. And um, I see, I saw the people that went to Xavier's and had a high degree, high end degree, and went on to become oil barons and whatnot. And they didn't have artistic bone in their, not even artistic bone. They didn't have a bit of um, constructive thought in their heads, right? Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the thing. I mean, you don't really realize, people go, "Oh, I just don't know if I could take a good picture." Well, once you get back past the idea of where the light is, right? You got to think about, how the camera's going to pick up on the light. Once you get past that little thing, a lot of it is just composition. A lot of it is, my opinion, with photography, what I've learned, one, you have to be there to take the picture. I went down to East Fork Lake very early in the morning. It was cold as shit, but it had just gotten warm enough. There was fog like you have never seen in your life. And I was there, the only one there to take pictures of it. You have to be there. Two, you have to take the picture. You see something occurring, you don't go, I wonder if I should take a picture of that. It's too late. It's happened, it's gone. You got to take the picture. You got to be there. You got to take the picture. And then, third, you have to realize the camera you have on you is the camera you're going to take that picture with. What are you going to carry as a general picture, a camera? Or what were you carrying that day? Um, Hence why I usually take about 5. But I think a lot of it comes down to, certainly if you have the eye, what I call the eye, the composition, understanding color, understanding, even if you're taking black and white, color affects black and white in such great ways, right? That red shirt, depending on how you take it in black and white, can look really horrible or really good. And you might even say, I bet you that's red. Yeah, it was red. So it is very important. Um, a classical art background to know what composition is by the masters and whatnot, and get it in film. I agree with you 110%. And it's funny. I'm here now doing photography because traditional arts, hand arts was my forte, but I just don't have the space. This is my studio. I don't have the space for it. So now is the time for me to be a photographer. And I realized that, and it's really interesting um, to be doing this now. Uh, in uni, we had film cameras. We also developed film and print in dark rooms. Yeah, I probably would, but I'll be that asshole. I only do black and white. I mean, I'll be honest. If I ever really went into color, I would have to just have it develop in a program. I um I'm tempted to use that 3-in-1 darkroom bath for black and white. I think it's called mono bath, but I'm just not there yet. I'm just not there yet. They're developing it for free, so I'm not going to do it. Um, and here's the thing about film, and this is why I'm really struggling with doing film because it has such a digital aspect now, right? You're digitizing it so that people can see it. Well, if you're digitizing it, you might as well change it digitally too, right? So, I mean, well, what I'm talking about is it's called Monobath. It's the developer stop bath fixer and stop bath all together, and you can reuse it a lot too. There's a guy on Lomography. He talks about how he uses this monobath way past its date, and it starts affecting the film in interesting ways too. Getting into the lomography thing. And my digitizer, um, I almost want to pick it up, but it's a little too big. Uh, my digitizer, I was doing it wrong the first time, and my black and whites were coming out brown, like black and or white and brown, and it was really interesting look. But I'm like, this is not black and white. So I do have a way to do. I can do so much with that just the digitizer itself, right? Um, there are Yeah, see, I'm kind of that way. It doesn't matter digital or not. You're about right. I do about 5 to 10 minutes if I'm going to do anything. At most, my are cropping and maybe lightening or darkening it a little bit. Sometimes I might do a little bit of, you know, getting it in focus a little bit more or something like that. But that's about it. I don't really do much else if I do it at all. I like I said, 9 out of 10 things I post up, that's it. I didn't touch it. It's just the way it was. And it's not so much that I'm a purist. Well, I don't know. Maybe I am. I just feel like you're creating the piece. You try to create the piece as best as you can, and just leave it because you can go and edit pictures till you die. you know See, though, that's a little bit more than I do. I don't really even do all that stuff either. But then again, most of my stuff's black and white. So, um, even like the digital colors I do, again, crop, lighten and darken it maybe, and maybe sharpen it a little bit. Sometimes depends on what. That's about all I do. And it's not even so much that, again, like yeah, maybe I'm a little bit of a purist, but I literally have thousands of pictures. I'm going through, hey, that's a really good picture. I better, and maybe I'll feel like it needs it. Maybe. Otherwise, I'd be doing it all day. I feel like editing, it's such a job in and of itself. I could almost like have an editor. Hey, Jones, do the editing. Well, I mean, it's such its own thing. And I know there are people who do, I mean, crazy level of editing. There's a guy on the Camp Snap community who does with the CS Pro. He uses CS Pro and he does amazing. I know there's no way it came out of that camera like that. There's no way. And he does say he edits it, but it just it's just amazing. I just can't do a lot of stuff. I could be there all day on it, but honestly though, I think a lot of it maybe cropping, right? Especially like with Camp Snap Pro where you can't see it as you're taking the picture of it. There's always a little something that you just didn't want to include, or you know, something like that. Um, and my big thing is with that, especially when you're going out in the wilds, the wildlife thing. There's always a branch somewhere. It's sticking out. It's on this side. You didn't see it. It's in the picture now. Um, so except for those little things. That's usually why I crop out branches. They're just everywhere. Um, so I asked to clear off birds, wrinkles, poles. Yeah. But and I taught myself with. I'm not saying I know Photoshop, but I taught myself what I know of what to do with. I use Photoshop CS5, and I taught myself everything by myself. I literally went online, watched videos. I mean, you can take classes on Photoshop. There's so much stuff that is hidden in Photoshop that that you just don't know about how it works. So it's uh but again, I try not. I've only used AI once, and again, that was a branch I couldn't get out to save my life without looking like crap, and it didn't do anything else to the picture. Just took the branch out, but that little bit really helped. Oh, I take that back. I did use it twice. I took a self-portrait, and there was a glare in my glasses. I could not get it out of Photoshop, and AI did though. Photoshop's. Somebody was that you, I think that was you, wasn't it, that got me onto Corel. Um, I started using that. I love those old styles that's on the Coral. Um, but yeah, I'm always so there's so many different programs you can use now. I mean, especially the old ones and stuff. But I don't know. I feel like I'm an old horse learning new tricks. It's like, oh, I got to learn another program. But if it has something really cool to it, I will. Oh yeah, there's quite a few of them too, and all the good stuff from the '90s are now free. So yeah. But one thing I won't do, I won't. Yeah, I don't do. I was just going to say it. You took the word out of my mouth. I don't do subscriptions at all. The only subscription I have right now is Scribe, and that's because the tabletop role playing stuff is so expensive if you buy it. So I do Scribe, but then again I turn around and I'll buy the book. So I'm backing people one way or another. But I even like movies and things like that. If Netflix has something I absolutely gotta watch, I'll subscribe to it for a month and then drop it. I'm horrible. I'm a deplorable. But I think what time is it? Oh, I'm going to stop this. I'm sorry. I only have Windows, so that's but I'm going to stop this stream because it is getting close to my bed. These things usually last about 5 minutes. So thank you guys for getting on here. It was. Thank you so much. I've never had so many people. I didn't have anybody ever. So I'm moving on up. And I might even do this regularly. I don't know. I'm doing it because I don't have nothing else to do, or so maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll try to do a regular thing. Thursdays are my days off, so I might just try and put out something every Thursday. I don't know. It's always been hit and miss. Usually someone's got a feather up my ass, so I make a video. Yes, thank you for that. You're one of the 5 people on my camera Discord. I think, do I have a link? Do I have to put a link on each video? No, I have a link on my main YouTube site. So, and there's Discord, Flickr, uh, Instagram. I'm on Facebook. And I'm in a lot of Facebook groups like Camp Snap community and Black and White and things like that. And I'm Brian Scott all across, except for I think Instagram, I'm Prince of Cincinnati. I don't know. That's a long story. But so I'm always, if you want to see my pictures, that's the only way. Because again, like the whole reason I do the live streams, I just don't have I have no way to show a picture in my video. I really want to do it so that I can talk to people, like have the split screen and talk to each other on Gary, who you probably know on my Discord. we would be great just talking together, right? I would just love to do that and have videos of us. Yeah, we try that. We're too old for that. We don't understand it. It hurts. I would try to. We try OBS. Gary is actually the one with a technical background. Well, maybe we'll get together then because but you're probably going to have to tell me in person on video because I cannot. I do not have the ability. It's something that I cannot understand for now. I get that. It is simple, yeah. Well, let's meet up and talk. Good. Well, if it's so simple, you're not expert. You can tell me how to do it. I think though, once I'm told to do how to do it, maybe I'll be able to. But I just found OBS to be really difficult. There you go. Well, I've said something like that similar about myself. It's not so much I'm smart enough, just smart enough. It's just I've done enough, right? I've done just enough to be dangerous, right? I've just done. Um, I know this a little bit of this and this and this and this, but never enough. Always a I've done it all, but I'm not a jack of all trades, but never knowing any of the trades, that sort of thing. I'm very much that. Um, So thank you for showing up. And I know we had a few others and they dropped. I'm sorry for that. I ramble. Uh, let's get together. Let's get together in Discord. Okay. I don't know if you would want to. We can get together on Discord and talk. I would have to hear you talk though. You have to talk me through it. Where did the man touch you? Show me. You have to really because and up to be honest, it was also Gary. Gary, we just did not understand OBS. I have audio view. Good. Because that's my big dream is to have like a split screen where you see two of us talking and I can show you a picture, screen share. I can show you what, photographs I've done or whatever. That's my big dream to do that. I really would love to do something like that. But why the fuck doesn't YouTube have that? You can make your own. Oh, good. I have another idea also to do it in black and white. Well, I think I'm starting towards branding. It's Mystic Skull Photography, and my YouTube is Mystic Skull, and I got a logo for it. So hey, I'm kind of doing that. I'm starting. I've been thinking about how to do things or starting to do things, and so but I assure you, I'm not heading towards making money on this because number one, the tax man will be down on me. But I have no. Now, maybe if I have like 1 million followers, I'll do that. I tell you what, when I reach the 5,000th follower, I'll think about monetizing it. So, but right now, my branding is just to get noticed. What would my that's the Mystic Skull. Well, this one's just called the Mystic Skull. I technically don't have a photography. I have it on Discord, Mystic Skull Photography, but I haven't done it on YouTube yet. So, but if I do the split screen, darn right I will. I'll do that. Show off my because I know 9 out of 10 people aren't going to some other site to look at my pictures. There's sort of a laziness right to it. If show me, that sort of thing. And it would be nice to go out, videotape, and come back and put, make an actual, walk around, talk about a camera, whatever. I think that would be fun too. All right, so I do have to go though. I get up at 3 a.m. in the morning. So thank you again for showing up. And I'm going to end the stream now. We should talk though in Discord. Yeah, take care. Thank you, good sir, for showing up. Until then.